Most people think pyramids only exist in Egypt, but that's wrong. Deep in the desert of Sudan, satellite images reveal something unexpected: over 200 pyramids scattered across the sand like forgotten markers of something ancient. No crowds, no fame, no attention, just silence. And a question that history never fully answered: why does almost nobody talk about them? These pyramids were built by the Kingdom of Kush, a powerful civilization that once ruled parts of northeastern Africa. They built cities, temples, and royal burial sites, many of them shaped like pyramids. But unlike Egypt's massive stone monuments, these pyramids are smaller, sharper, and far more numerous. They rise from the desert in quiet clusters, almost like something was repeated over and over again, a pattern that suggests not just culture, but system. And yet, most of the world barely knows they exist. Here's where things get strange. Egypt has pyramids, but Sudan has more, over twice as many in some estimates. So why is global attention focused almost entirely on Egypt? Why does one pyramid tradition dominate history books while the other is barely mentioned? Archaeologists have studied these structures for decades, but there are still unanswered questions, like why this pyramid building style continued long after Egypt's peak, almost in isolation, as if a tradition survived quietly in the background of history. And if you're enjoying uncovering the hidden side of history like this, consider subscribing to the channel, because the more you look beyond the obvious, the more history stops making sense. The most famous of these sites is Meru, once a royal capital. Today, it sits in the Sudanese desert, surrounded by hundreds of pyramids. But unlike Egypt's pyramids, these structures are steep, narrow, and almost fragile looking. They feel different, not in engineering, but in intent. Inside them were kings and queens of Kush, rulers who once controlled trade routes across Africa. But the civilization itself eventually faded from prominence. Not destroyed in a single moment, but slowly absorbed, replaced, forgotten in global memory. The pyramids remained. The story did not. This is where the mystery becomes less about architecture and more about memory. Why do some civilizations stay famous forever, while others, equally powerful, fade into obscurity? The pyramids of Sudan are not hidden. They are visible on maps, documented, studied, and yet they feel invisible in public awareness. Almost as if history itself chose what to remember, or what to ignore. Some researchers point to geography, others to archaeology bias over centuries, but none of these explanations fully answer the question: why does the world picture pyramids and only think of Egypt?